Good morning, everyone. This is Brian Foley, recording the last speech 3 for COM-290. So the topic that I selected for this essay, for the speech rather, is doing a good turn daily. So with that being said, Lord Baden-Powell, always said and spoke that we should try to leave the world better than we found it. We all have that opportunity to do such. And it is up to us to determine how we leave the world better than the way we found it and what impact we want to leave. So we got to take a look at the basis of, being human. It doesn't have anything to do with who's better, who's greater than someone else, or dominance over a particular group or individuals. But it has to do everything with how we understand problems and motivation we utilize for ourselves internally and externally, and how we help other people. So when we take a look at doing a good turn daily, I go ahead and think about a few problems that is the reason why we need to do a good turn daily. We judge people way too often. People we know and people we don't know. And we first need to stop judging and going ahead and understand and learn about who we are as individuals. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is we have no respect and trust in society anymore. Back in the old days with our grandparents, they were able to leave their doors open and at night, and there wouldn't be a problem. Today, you can barely walk down the street without being shot, kidnapped, or otherwise assaulted. And that's just not a good society, and it's definitely not a good place that we should want to be in, and we should strive to do better. Heck, it is the United States of America, one of the greatest countries. So that's problem two. Problem three is the hatred towards our military and towards our law enforcement. They stepped up. We're doing a job to protect ourselves, to protect our loved ones, and protect our community. And we need to go ahead and to stop fighting with them, stop harming them, stop shooting at them. They're less than 1% of people in this country that go ahead and are in the military, and it's far fewer of those that are even cops. And we just can't continue to allow the hatred towards them. And lastly, this is probably the most sensitive topic, is politics, right? So we need to get over it. We need to stop worrying about hurt feelings. We need to stop worrying about party lines. As society, as an individual in this country, we should work together as civilized human beings, keyword civilized, for the benefit of our society, right? Like, let's sit down, enact legislation that is, proactive, that is helpful to society, for us and for future generations, and let's make a difference. It shouldn't be that hard. So those are the 4 problems that I came up with. And the solutions to how we're going to fix this is, A, we got to have respect for ourselves. Once we have respect for ourselves, we can have respect for others. Once we have respect for others, we can learn to accept differences, and we can learn to accept responsibilities. Once we accept the responsibility that this is what we have to do to move forwards, we'll be golden. We'll be thriving as an individual, as a family, as a community, and as a nation. But after we recognize who we are, we have to also take a look at, forgiving others and letting go of the anger and the hatred. However that was started, however you feel, you need to let go of it, because otherwise we'll never be able to move forward as a group, as an individual. And who wants to be angry all the time? Or who wants to, pick a fight? It's just not me. So some solutions to how we're going to do this is read a book. Get out in your community, join a group, go for a run. But, you can also volunteer. Go to the library, help out your community library, your senior citizen center, the food bank. Those are just a few. If you really want to make a difference in your community, go become an EMT, go become a volunteer firefighter, drive Meals on Wheels, go visit with the elderly and the senior citizens, just a small impact weekly of giving up a few hours of your time makes such a big difference in someone else's life. And who knows, maybe in your life you will understand and it will make a positive change. So we've gone over the problems, we've gone over how we're our solutions, what we can do, and now let's put it into retrospect of how our society is present. So right now we have 1.3 million elderly people that are in nursing homes. 1.3 million people. Not everyone has family. Take the time to go to the Senior Citizen Center, nursing homes, assisted living facilities, sit down, play a game with them, talk to them, engage, make sure that they remember they're not forgotten, and learn from each other. That's really important. So that's, one of the visualizations from doing Good Turn Daily is, respecting your elders and communicating with them and engaging them still, even no matter what age they are. And then we got to go ahead and look at the veterans. So right now there's just under 41,000 veterans that are homeless. That's a big staggering number. Walk up to that homeless veteran, talk to them, get them a meal, provide them information and directions on how to get assistance they need, and let's make our society better. Let's help the 41,000 vets. Don't forget about our elderly who raised us. So those are just two things that I thought of that sparked my interest, but also really critical out there to take a look at. So I'll leave everyone with doing a Good Turn Daily is completely an individual task. You can certainly make it a family task or community or group task, but it starts at the individual. And then it is an act of kindness. It's not something that you do because you're told to do. It's something that you want to do. You shouldn't boast about doing it. You certainly shouldn't expect anything in return. But if you're going to do it, be honest, be humane, be energetic, and lastly, be you. Be a person that cares for others. Leave a legacy for your last name, for your family. Make a difference in the community that you live in, and most importantly, change the perspective of life of how you see it. I think that's really important today in society, and then moving forwards is it's just not about you. It's about what can we do to make an impact in a positive way. So with that being said, we've learned the problems, we've learned some of the solutions. Get out there, volunteer in the community, recognize change, forgive people, and ultimately just do a good turn daily every single day. Just not one thing. Just because you do one thing doesn't mean stop. So do a good turn daily, continue it, and help people whenever you can. Don't walk past anything. And lastly, don't have any regrets. So thank you, everyone. Have a good day.